So the West went outward. We've explored the external world into space. We need to realize that while we were doing the East has developed the science of introspection, of paying attention to what happens on the inside. We're just now developing names for our capacity to pay attention to our bodies. So we have things like nociception, our internal perception of being in pain. We've got um, interoception, uh, which is our ability to sense our organs, like needing to go to the bathroom. I've had doctors tell me that I couldn't tell when my blood pressure went up. That's because they have no sense that anyone has a sense that can detect those things. You have proprioception, which is our sense of where we are in space. So they've gone in and explored how the internal body responds, our nervous systems respond to the external world, which is what Ayurveda is. They simply paid attention. When I eat this plant, what happens in my body? When this season changes, what happens in my body? So they developed maps of these things. So what we need to realize is you can sit and memorize these things, or you can become curious like I am. How did they do that? Okay. How did they become so finely attuned to their energetic bodies that they could feel the change in plants? They could feel the change in weather 50 miles away. Native American trackers could sense herds 50 miles away. They could sense weather systems coming because they were integrated with their environment. So, one of the things that we're doing is beginning to pay as much attention internally as we pay attention externally to things. And once we develop that, then we'll begin putting the two together because they're really not separate. But for the purpose of closing your eyes for some meditation is to tune out the external distractions. That's why one of the limbs of yoga is to close the senses. What's that one called?
Pratyahara.
Pratyahara. Um, but Buddhists don't do that, but they do. And that's for the purpose of attuning to these internal worlds. So last time we talked about eyes open, we talked about breath. Today we're going to talk about soft belly. So again, as we became curious about the internal world, we started noticing that we have three brains. You have your head brain, you have your heart brain, and you have your gut brain. And as science begins to explore this, it turns out the heart brain sends more commands to the head brain and the gut brain than vice versa. Your gut brain produces more serotonin than your other brains do, but it doesn't cross the brain barrier. Why any of you who are taking SSRI should be taking 5-HTP because it's a precursor to serotonin that crosses the brain barrier. So you load up to make more serotonin in your brain. Today we're going to explore your gut brain. You got a gut feeling that so and so is going on. So many people, when we begin to look at our armoring, not only armor our hearts, not only have guarded our heads with all these ideas and systems and filters, but we guard our gut. And your gut is one of the most sensitive receptors of vibrations. These are the dantians, the upper dantian, lower dantian in Chinese martial arts that we totally ignore in the West. So Levine has done a good job of exploring this. I'll set this up in a context for us and then take us through the meditation. He says, we're conditioned to suffer. Our society of hard-bellied and deeply pained people conforms to this lowest denominator. We wander around hard and lost through our lives until we begin to awaken with a deep sigh of letting go and begin to soften into the path of compassion. When growth has become the priority, soft belly becomes the context for learning to let go. Observing the relative openness or closeness of the belly gives insight into when and how we are holding on to our pain. When the belly is hard, there's resistance, some degree of fighting or posturing. Is that resistant and hardening to the moment, attempting to control it? You may have to come back to soften the belly a dozen times an hour, but the belly is an extraordinary diagnostic instrument. It displays the armoring of the heart as tension in the belly. The deeper our relationship to the belly, the sooner we discover if we were resisting in the mind or opening into the heart. Any trying, again, here every teacher's telling you this, any striving tightens the belly. Trying stimulates judgment. Hard belly is often the judging belly. Even trying to understand what I'm saying, the belly may begin to tighten. Don't try to understand, simply enter the process. In the soft belly, simply allow understanding to arise all by itself from your true nature, not your head. Beyond the mind is everything you long for. But the great irony of the spiritual search is that we are looking for what is actually looking. It is difficult to see that which sees, but it's not impossible. It takes some work to let go of old ways of seeing, and softening the belly is the beginning. Indeed, we are programmed to hold to our pain, to turn it into suffering. We are taught to harden the belly, to hide its fullness, its roundness. God, have I got the round belly fucking nailed. The spaciousness, women in particular are programmed to be attractive, encouraged to wear undergarments that compress the belly and decrease the sense of spaciousness. Men too can often be noticed holding in the belly at the beach to be acceptable, implored to be hard-bellied by a culture which confuses hardness with beauty. It's a dangerous way to live if one wishes to be fully alive. The more one thinks that he or she is the body, the tighter the belly will be at times. There are so many levels of letting go into the enormity of being, but when there is holding in of the belly, the heart is not so available. My wife and I have been doing this practice for years, and still we notice again and again that the belly needs to be reminded that it is unconsciously tightened to that which we wish to remain unconscious of. So you inhale down into the belly and you exhale out past the heart. And the belly softens and you find room in your body for healing, for being, for liberation. The softer the belly, the greater the capacity to stay present and awake during the dense dream of heavy mental states. Soft belly encourages investigation of body patterning that accompanies each state. It allows exploration without getting drawn into the familiar seductive thought patterns. We can't overestimate the importance of softening the belly. Some years ago, Andrea and I turned to each other and said, you know, it's time for us to stop auditioning for the kids. We've got the job. We're constantly auditioning for the people we want love from, our parents, our children, our lovers, co-workers, and our mates. The hard belly is always auditioning, always posturing, always angling for control. But this is it. You've got the job. You've taken this incarnation. Now deepen the soft belly to make room for your life. So, gong us in.
Okay.
3 bells. They invite you to become present. Notice that by the second bell, you've probably already drifted off. So hard to stay in the present moment. So ding, 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 invitation to presence. So begin to gather your awareness in the present moment. Following the breath, a continuous cycle of breath. Always there to anchor you in the present moment. The in breath, the pause, the out breath, the pause. As we said last week, no right way to breathe, no wrong way to breathe. Letting the belly soften to accommodate the in breath. Plenty of room for the diaphragm to drop down. Feeling the physical sensations of being in the body. Sensing the body not as something hard and physical, but as a field of energy. Your body feeling its energy, its warmth or coolness, tightness or relaxed, spacious or open, vibratory, chaotic. Feeling the sensations generated by the buttocks on the chair or pillow. The response of your body to the pull of gravity. Feeling of the sensations that arise as a result of the breath. The weight of the head, sensations in the neck. Just feeling the sensations that are the body in which you're sitting. And now let your awareness come down into the belly, allowing the belly to soften. Becoming aware of the resistance, the compression of the belly, and simply allow the inhale to soften, to create more space for itself. A gentle allowing. And if you're struggling, just note without judgment that trying to soften the belly tightens the belly. And allowing yourself to sigh. Let go of the exhale. Relaxing into the spaciousness. Breathing in, the belly rises, expands. Breathing out, the belly collapses. Softening to receive the breath all the way to the floor of the pelvis. Allowing the breath to breathe itself in a gradually softening body. Noting how the rest of the body takes its cue from the belly. The belly says it's safe to relax and soften. The rest of the body follows. Each breath softening, opening, and releasing. Inhaling, and the belly rises, filling the body with softness. Exhaling, the belly falls, releasing any resistances. Expanding and contracting belly, soft belly, just observing the breath breathing itself in the softness, without judgment, without comment, without effort. Simply the sweet sensations, the gentle flow of breath. As you let go and soften the belly, you discover deeper and deeper levels of softness. As you soften the body, you may experience a softening to the emotions. So much pain hidden behind the hard belly, so much grief, so much fear and armoring. Not hardening to your pain, but just allowing it to be in compassion, allowing it all to float in the softening belly. Notice how even a single thought can tense the belly again, reestablishing conditioned armoring, creating separation, increasing your sense of separation and alienation. Witness it directly. Softening, creating greater sensitivity and connection. Hardening, creating pain and separation. Softening with each inhalation, letting go with each exhalation, breathing out the pain, letting it go. Belly softens even more. Relaxing into deeper and deeper levels of softening and letting go. So much room for liberation. Soft belly opening the heart. The old resistances in the belly blocking the heart. And as you exhale and let go of the pain, breathe out the hardness, the armoring, making room in your life for the soft belly and for compassion for yourself. Expectations, judgment, doubt, old griefs congregating in the belly. Softening allows them to dissipate, disperse. Feeling the chronic tensions in the body, the pains, the fears, the self-doubts, spontaneously dissolving into the softness, the spaciousness of a compassionate belly. More expansive levels of being discovered in the soft belly. Even if hardness is discovered in the midst of increasing softness, just watch it float through. The hardness floating in the softness. Nothing to change, no urgency to react. Allowing the urgency to float in the softness. Gradually increasing our tolerance for pain as we allow it to be without hardening against it. Giving us greater and greater capacity to be in a world of pain and not suffer, not close ourselves off against the world, Belly soft. Opens the heart. Opens the mind. Not resisting anywhere, but trusting the process. Letting all that arises pass through the spaciousness of the soft belly. Begin to let your eyes gently open. And as your eyes open, notice at what point the belly tightens again. At what point do you establish that sense of someoneness? Your ego arraying itself against the world and the belly, reasserting its need to protect. See if you can catch the point where the armor reestablishes its long presence. And continue to soften with the eyes wide open to the world.
Thank you.
Well, this is a fine mess you've got this into, Stanley.
Hey, your idea.
Uh-oh. That was rude. So, what y'all got this morning?